This week on Music Worth Buying, we're going to be checking out The Making Of by the Bohicas.
And Laugh in the Dark from Tommy Keene.
Hello, welcome to another episode of Music Worth Buying. My name is TJR. I'm a musician and a music writer.
And my name is Robert Kinsler, and I'm a music writer and a musician.
And of course, as always, we scour through lots of releases, we listen to a lot of stuff, and when we get together on this show, we try to pick out the stuff that we are most excited about, the stuff that we really want to share with you and recommend to you. And so this week, I'm very excited to be sharing with everybody The Making Of by the Bohicas. Now, this is their first full-length album. The band did previously release an EP, of which 2 songs from that EP are featured on full-length album. The 2 songs that are from the EP that have been moved over to this full-length release are the actual original recordings. They've not been re-recordings; they're the actual original recordings. The rest of it all is brand new material, though. And I'm just really was immediately knocked out by this band. I discovered them on YouTube. I saw one of their music videos just by accident. I just kind of came across them purely by accident. And I love it when accidents like that happen. Was knocked out by the song, so I went immediately, looked them up on Spotify, listened to their EP, was really enjoyed that. And then, as it turned out, the album came out just a few short weeks after that. And so immediately I wanted to check out the album and was knocked out by the album. I describe this band's music not as power pop, but as aggressive pop. This band knows how to play aggressive, heavy rock, but they've managed to still keep that melodic edge. Is that what I want to say?
Or melodic element, maybe.
Melodic element,
like yeah.
A very strong melodic element. Even to the point where I'll say, to me, nothing gets more melodic than the Beatles, but even a very Beatles melodic element with that extremely aggressive guitar sound that they have. And the first song I'm going to play for you is a song called The Swarm, which was originally on the EP and has now been moved over to this album. And this is, it's a very heavy song. I love the aggressiveness of it, but I also love how melodic it manages to be. And so I'm gonna let you check out that one first. I want to get your reaction and see what y'all think. Here we go.
Broken you could ever imagine, because when I come up, I come back down so hard, so fast, can't slow it down, crash through the chaos of my storm, babe, don't take off and join the swarm.
I love that. I know I had previously, I think, heard a little bit.
You played a few days prior to the shoot.
And so, but then I heard it again today, and it's like there's that sense of recognition. But boy, it's just explosive. You're right. You hear the melodic elements in the music, but also there's a real kind of like kinetic energy. Like it's not punk per se, but maybe like something like early Queen or something, or New York Dolls or something. But yeah, it's like this really amped up energy, and just it sucks you right in, but in a good way.
Yeah, it drives you. It just drives you just balls to the walls.
Well, yeah, exactly.
When you hear that opening up, and the song is called Swarm, and that opening guitar lick makes me really think of a swarm of bees. Exactly. Just like it has that level of electricity and energy that just propels you.
Yeah,
it really propels you.
Yeah,
but then when you get to the vocal. His vocal, it's funny, I was thinking to myself, not since Cheap Trick, with songs like, say, you take a song like Auf Wiedersehen by Cheap Trick,
that's
the
a
Heaven
really
Tonight
good
album,
way to say it. That's what,
where you hear this tremendously well-executed blending of very aggressive, punk-like guitar attitude with tremendous amounts of melody.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a hard thing to blend sometimes.
Yeah, Cheap Trick did it great on their first 3 albums.
Yeah.
So like, just amazing. And that's kind of, that's a good, not that this sounds like Cheap Trick, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But it has that approach that you're talking about,
A while back, when you had talked about the Pugwash album, their recent album, and we talked about how you said they're clearly wearing their influences on their sleeve. And I said, nothing wrong with that so long as they write good original songs.
Exactly.
Nothing wrong with that. Now here, I will say I can hear some influences of, say, like I said, like the Beatles and Cheap Trick, but this band is not wearing any influences on their sleeves, in my opinion. That doesn't. I don't think it makes them better than, say, a band like Pugwash, because Pugwash writes such great songs.
Yeah, yeah.
If you write great songs, you write great songs. It doesn't matter whether you wear your influences on your sleeve or not. I'm just pointing out that with this band, the influences are there, but it's not on their sleeves. I really feel like they have definitely their own original sound, and we're going to hear more of that in a moment.
Okay.
The band is Dominic McGuinness on drums, Brendan Haney and Dominic John on guitar, and on bass, Adi Akaleste. Hopefully I say that right. Packaging-wise now, this album comes in a standard digipack. Here is the front and back. I like the way the artwork just kind of flows into each other here from the front and back here. This is very kind of modern-day contemporary comic book type of graphics that I see here, and I do like that because I've been a big comic book fan most of my life here. When you turn it over here, you do get a photo of the band. The black and yellow theme continues here on the interior here, and it does come with a booklet here that is inserted onto the top here. Once again, also continuing that whole black and yellow theme here that we have here, with some of the pages in black, some of them in yellow.
Yeah, very cool.
With reverse lettering.
Yeah, I like that.
It is nice looking.
Yeah.
All the lyrics are included. Lyrics are very easy to read.
Yeah.
Yes, very easy to read.
We like that.
And the usual credits, yes. And so, yeah, nice job with the packaging. I think what impresses me most about this band is their versatility from song to song. We're going to listen to a track now that is the reverse of what we just heard. This is a much more keyboard-dominated, pop-oriented song. This is the only song on the album where keyboards dominate, actually. The rest is more guitar-driven. But the way I'll describe this album for you, since I can only play a sample of 2 tracks, is take this track here as one point A and take the one we just played as point Z, and everything else in between as far as the level of intensity, how slow or how fast songs are. Just take it as that, as just how each song has its own little bit of flavor. And so we're going to go ahead and listen to our second track, and this one is called Only You. Here we go.
How can something so wrong and turn me on? I can't help myself. I try and tell myself, if I have only one weakness, it's you. Only you.
I think you said these guys are from London, right?
They're from England, yeah.
I just love this. I'm going to make sure I get a copy of this album. It's terrific, and I need to make sure I feature it in one of my syndicated columns as well.
Good,
But
hope you do.
Very impressed by it. I know I was impressed when you played me a little bit recently,
Yeah.
and then listening to it today, it's like, wow, this is just this terrific stuff. I love this.
Yeah, it's just, you just can't beat just catchy hooks.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they really know how to write really catchy hooks, whether they're being ultra aggressive in your face or more laid back like a song like this, which is, this song to me feels very 80s. It feels to me like this is like the best of what the 80s sounded like if you remove that annoying, overly loud snare hit that every song in the 80s had back then, which is why I personally hated the 80s so much. Why I have such it's to me the 80s are like this bad kind of bad memory to me, because every song had that annoying snare hit that was 10 times louder than it needed to be in every song. And I'm exaggerating. Not every song in the 80s was bad. There were lots of good songs, but in spite of that annoying snare hit that every song had to have. But no, this song is to me like the best of what the 80s had to offer as far as just catchiness, sounding fun, enjoyable. And it's just a song about, that this guy saying, my only bad habit is you.
Yeah.
It's a love song.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe it's not. Maybe she's no good for him. Who knows? And my only bad habit is you. You could interpret it either way.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, these are just fun songs that just propel you and move you. You can't knock that.
Yeah.
And so, what do you have for us right now?
Well, I've actually brought in a great new album from singer-songwriter Tommy Keene. He's from the Washington, D.C. area.
Okay.
And since the 1980s, he's released a slew of albums. I think he's released something like 11 full-length studio albums, 4 EPs. He's released a live album. He's released 3 compilations. He even has an album of covers that he's done. That's pretty cool. Maybe for another episode. Here's the retrospective of his career. But his new album, and I don't have the final cover art, everybody. I apologize. I was sent in advance because I'm one of these pesky rock journalists, you know, and stuff. But I do have the full-length album. I've been listening to that for for the better part of this week, and it is fantastic. You know, just lots of heavy guitar-oriented power pop. You know, he's a great guitar player, a great singer. You know, these great infectious melodies and everything. So why don't we listen to a little bit of Last of the Twilight Girls. Okay. That's one of the great songs off Laugh in the Dark, Tommy Keene's new album.
Cool, let's check it out.
And that's a little bit of Last of the Twilight Girls, one of many good songs off Laugh in the Dark. You know, if you're a fan of Matthew Sweet, Marshall Crenshaw, I know we mentioned Pugwash earlier, maybe something like that. You know, power pop was very big with bands like Cheap Trick, or even before that with Badfinger. You know, I'm thinking also of the Raspberries in the 70s. It's never fully had a real big resurgence, but it's never gone away. I mean, when you hear pop today, they're not typically talking about power pop. That's kind of more rock, you know, kind of the style we think dates back to the Beatles and stuff. Tommy Keene is definitely a champion of that style, and he does it very, very well. I mean, some of these songs might make you recall certain of his musical ancestors, but I think it's not knockoff material here. I think his songs are very, very good. Great guitar player and a great singer too.
Yeah. And of course, we don't have any packaging we can show because this is an advance copy. We're sent prior to the release.
Right. Although we will flash obviously the artwork on the screen.
Yeah, we don't have anything we can show. Although I do read here on the back on the back of this, it does give you some information here that this in the past he's always just when he started a new project, he's had songs left over from the previous project that have worked their way into the new project. And this is the first time he's kind of coming to a new album with a completely clean slate.
Yeah.
With nothing previous and just starting from scratch on this album.
Yeah.
From the get-go, you know, with song one, just starting from scratch on this album.
And I think one of the things that really struck me listening to this album is like, you know, it's very melodic and stuff, but the guitar parts are very, very interesting. Like he's going somewhere, and then all of a sudden he'll throw something little in, and it really adds depth and makes the songs more interesting. You know, rather than just maybe just hit a C chord, a G chord, go back to C chord or something. You know, he throws in these little. You know, the melodies kind of dart and weave out, and that almost becomes like a style in and of itself. And I really like what he does musically with that too, as well. And you know, the first song we heard a little bit of is definitely a more rockin' tune. So I thought now what we do is play something a little bit more laced with melancholy and stuff. And this one is called "All the Lights Are Alive." Okay, and let's listen to a little bit of that one.
Yeah, let's check it out.
When the nighttime blows you away, when the chips will find a way into the grave, when your love has gone away, if you survive, all the lights are alive.
You know, and I'll be honest here. That first song, didn't hear anything wrong with it, but it wasn't pulling me in the way I thought it should. But like I said, first listen, you know. And I've learned over the years never to completely judge anything by the first listen.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could change your mind.
Yeah.
But this one, first listen, immediately it's pulling me in. Immediately I'm being drawn into this world the song wants to bring me into. Immediately my world is slowing down with this song, you know. And immediately I'm pulled into the story. So yeah, great song.
Yeah, and you know, and it still amazes me after all these, you know, after like 60 years of rock and roll, that somebody with a guitar, drums, bass can still has something new to say. And every time I'll discover a new song like this, like exactly kind of what you're saying, it's reflective, it's wistful, it just, you know, it like you said, it slows down your world a little bit and gets you to jump off this frantic race that we're all in and just listen. And that's the magic maybe of rock and roll, even all these decades on. And Tommy Keene definitely, I think, has that ability after being an artist for, you know, like 35 years. He's still able tap into the human side of things and bring that out in his music. And he's fantastic. And I would encourage people, not only get his new album. And sorry, I don't have the cover up here, but like I said, it's on screen, or so especially or his retrospective album too that came out a few years ago. Then you can kind of get a glimpse of everything that he's done.
Yeah. And you were saying, that's the magic of rock and roll. It's also just the magic of music
in
general, which is why we do this show.
Yeah, it is.
Why we do this here
well
for
said.
you.
Well said.
So we want to thank you very much for watching, and hopefully you have found, some new discoveries that you'll want to check out, add to your life here. And as always, we really appreciate you watching. We appreciate you subscribing. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. And we thank you for sharing the show on your social media. And if you haven't done that, please do let people know what we're doing here. And until next time, I'm TJR. You can check out my music at tjrmusic.com. Join my email list there, and I'll send you a link for some free tracks, some free MP3s. Also, I have my own YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/TJR, the original. And why I named it that is a long story I'm not going to get into. It was not one of my better decisions in life, but it's the name I have for my channel. And someday I'll talk about that.
Okay.
But please join me there as well, where I perform live music and discuss other aspects of music, and even discuss things outside of music as well. And so, Robert, where can everybody find you?
Well, they can find me obviously at musicworthbuying.com and at ocregister.com, musicnewsnashville.com, and at desertstarweekly.com.
Very good. And so thanks so much for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
See you later, everybody.
All right, bye.